If I think really hard about the last couple of years, I think a lot of my actions have been defined by this inability to take action, or rather unwillingness to do so. And I think that even holding this camera against my face and recording this video is something that I never would have considered unless I woke up this morning saying to myself, yeah, so. And to be honest, I find this really quite annoying because it's always one of those yeah, so moments that always lives in my memory as one of the things I enjoyed most. Like one of those times when I didn't worry about what I had to say, what if a situation I put myself in suddenly became so bad that I couldn't get out of. And I think it's mostly those situations that brought me happiness and life satisfaction in the past years. And it feels genuinely terrible because if you think about it, life shouldn't be about the things you can't do or are unwilling to do because of some external factor that you're constantly either worried, too anxious about, or I don't know, you think you can't for whatever reason. I also think that a lot of what I encounter on a day-to-day basis in terms of feelings of anxiety and unpreparedness simply come from a lack of exposure to the thing that I'm unknowingly sometimes trying to avoid. And I think that's pretty bad, and in my experience has only resulted in me regretting not taking that first step or not doing that thing that actually was supposed to challenge me and make me a better person. And I hope this is the way that I finally conquer this bit of my life, because it genuinely feels like I get the most easily defeated in this type of situations where I can't allow myself to move forward with my life, and I stay stuck in this cycle of I can't do this, I won't do this because, and I find a lot of excuses for myself. I don't have the time, I don't have the resources, I don't have the know-how of how to do the things I actually want to do. And I think that's detrimental in pretty much every way imaginable. Because if I look at my past, I've definitely conquered some really rough patches of my life. I have done the best I could in order to overcome fears or situations that I wouldn't have if I didn't have the resilience. And I think it's more of a long-term memory issue, and I think I need to put things into perspective whenever I face a situation like this, to remember that even though I might have something to struggle with now, if I keep struggling with it, I eventually won't. And I think that's the most valuable lesson I can probably teach myself. Because, to be fair, I've always struggled. I've always been a struggler. And the only thing that kept me going was the thought that things will one day get better. And yeah, I think there's a lot of that in the mix. And I really hope what I'm saying doesn't come off as being an insufferable prick and insensitive in any way, because that's totally not my intention. Your circumstances totally matter. It's just that I think sometimes it's worth having a bit of a perspective shift and looking at those circumstances as only your starting point towards whatever you want to do in life. Yes, your outcomes will obviously be influenced by your starting conditions, but since the past has already happened and you're already there, I think in most life situations it's up to you to deal with what you're dealt with, basically, to play the game at your best of your abilities. And some days it's just about taking one small bite at a time and realizing change won't happen overnight. It will always come in discrete increases or decreases, and you'll only feel those changes once they stack up significantly. And I think that's a bit of a trap of life, because we're so stuck in the moment without actually taking a bit of a breather every now and then to realize how far we've come with whatever we're doing in life. And I hope this wasn't some useless rambling. I think the yeah, so mentality totally helped me in the past, and I think it's something I should be doing more often than not. And I hope that by me putting this out there, because I've created a few challenges before actually getting to posting it. I have to edit this, I have to make sure the audio is okay, I have to color grade this. So I've had a bit of an impediment in order to make this get out. And I think it's particularly those small instances of adversity you have to overcome in order to get better. Anyway, I hope this video was of some help. If anything, I hope I didn't waste your time here. Thank you for taking the time to watch this until the end, and I hope you're doing the most you can to do better. Bye.